the freedom and the impact and just achieving something and seeing kind of where their potential is and what they can actually do, which is exciting. To be successful online or to be successful in any business, I think you do need to back yourself. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Harmony in the Hustle. I am so excited to have this amazing woman today as a guest on Harmony in the Hustle. Now, I recently spoke about the fact that this woman has been my mentor, and she is a powerhouse and has had an incredible online business and a lot of success. And my first guest that I'm having in my new women's series. And I'm so honored to have her because I think this is perfect that we have her. So I'm going to introduce her now. Her name is TinaTower. She probably doesn't need any introduction. Many of you will know who she is. She's very successful in the online business. So welcome, TinaTower.
Thank you,
So great
Angela.
to have
All right.
you.
I will take any opportunity I can to sit and talk to you.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that because I feel the same about you. I remember when I first met you, I kept thinking, this girl is always smiling. She's always happy. I thought I have to get to know this girl. She seems so much fun, and I just thought to have you as my first guest for this series is absolutely perfect because I think if they wrote a book on successful women with online businesses in this country, I think you would be on the front cover.
I think I'd be in there. Yeah. Yeah, I hope
You
so.
certainly would be. Yeah, well, you've helped thousands of women succeed online and
Yeah.
show them the way, and I'm also an example of that. But here we go. This is all about being able to help women step into their next chapter. And I find that right now, so many women are starting online businesses. They are stepping into the entrepreneurial world. They're trying to figure out how to sort of get started, what to do, where to pivot. Do you find right now that women are stepping into online businesses more than ever before?
Maybe not more than ever before. I mean, COVID was such a rush where everyone had to kind of step into online. So
Yeah.
I would say that was the busiest time in terms of the number of
Okay.
starting. But now I find it's more lifestyle based. So rather than the desperation that it was at that time of like, I'm going to lose my livelihood if I don't move everything online, it's more
Yeah.
going, hang on, how do I get more freedom and spaciousness and leverage and scalability? And that's why I find so many women are coming to the online space.
Yeah. Look, when I always say that you were one of my first mentors. Well, you were my first mentor when I stepped out of the restaurant. So when I went and sold those
Yeah,
restaurants and I stepped into
huge.
it was massive and I didn't
Yeah.
know what to do. And I remember thinking, mutual friend Dale Beaumont said, you need to really talk to TinaTower. And I just thought, well, I sometimes call you Tina Turner. I don't know if you ever get that, but I do
I'll answer
sometimes
to it.
call you Tina Turner. And then when I realized, this incredible community that you had built and the success that you have with a lot of women in business and you've got her empire builder, I thought this is a no-brainer. I'm going to join and be a part of this. And one of the things that I did was, and I talk about it a lot with the women in my Next Chapter program, I say to them all the time that when you pivot in your career, it doesn't have to be this massive leap. It can be, for me, it was like 1 foot in. I had 1 foot still in the restaurants and 1 foot in building my online business and joining with you because I realized that, it took me 1 year to sell those restaurants. I mean, I know you're a big part of, you had your franchise before you even got into online businesses. And I know that, just starting there was good because I had to learn so much. And I think just taking it slowly and learning from somebody that was guiding me every step of the way, like you did so brilliantly, it just helped me so much. So, and look, I really think right now what I am seeing, because even when I did my TEDx talk last year, one of the things that I did in this research, thank you, one of the things I did in this research was I found out that Harvard Business Review did this study and they found that women 40 plus are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the world. So we have this is category of us right now, these female entrepreneurs stepping into this, online entrepreneur space and start thinking, having ideas and having the courage to go out there and
Yeah.
really pursue something that they wanted to do that they may have put off in the past because they've been in the career space, being a mom, juggling 100 things, they haven't really been able to have the opportunity to really think about what their next steps are or what they would like to do. So are you finding when you're seeing that, are you seeing these women that are coming in around their 40s, 50s and starting something new?
Yeah, I do think A lot of women now, I look at my parents' generation and, a lot of us, when we finished school, the mums didn't really go back to work a lot of the time. They were
Yeah,
off and then they
that's
didn't
right.
really go back to work. And I find now it's not only through finances, but also the fulfillment. Most of the time, when I
Yeah.
have women coming that want to do their own business, the goal is impact. They're going, I've always had like this dream and this fire in my soul to want to do this and want to bring this to life. And that is what they're chasing is
Mm.
the freedom and the impact and just achieving something and seeing kind of where their potential is and what they can actually do, which is exciting.
It is. It really is. And you're absolutely right. And I think that it's the impact that, especially for me as well, I find that as well. It was
Yeah.
like, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to create something that made a difference in the world, that,
Mhm.
sharing my life experience, because, I talk on experience. I think lived experience and wisdom and sharing your battle scars, sharing the things that you
Yeah.
overcame, because I think really when you think about it, behind every success story, there is all these unseen moments, all the late nights, all the doubt, the burnout, all the things that you go through, the ups and downs. And I think more of that being shared for women is important because you see this successful life like yourself. And sometimes people think, is that unattainable for me? Is that like, she's so confident, she's this and that? And I think this is really the main reason why I decided to do this women's series is to say, oh, hang on a minute. These are the things where we all started. And this is the process that you go through to get to this point because nothing is as it seems, as we all know,
Mm.
behind the scenes, there's always that struggle, that journey and everything that you go through. And, then when you get to this point of, I guess where you are right now, you've got this incredible, life and business, but you are able to do so much and create such impact in the world. So are you finding when
Mm.
women are coming on board, they've got this energy and they've got this willingness to be able to create an impact and make a difference too?
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about is the willingness to be able to do it. But it's
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned there that people will look at others and go, "Do I have what it takes to be able to do that?" And I present very outwardly, very
Mm,
enthusiastically, and I am. I'm enthusiastic, and like you said at the beginning, I'm always smiling. Like my
you are.
disposition is an optimism bias, but I do think where I got really lucky is that innate confidence. Like I've always thought that my ideas were worth hearing and that if I was smart enough, I don't think I ever have an inflated sense of self confidence.
Mhm.
I think it's earned, but unlike a lot of women that I find will put themselves down and play down their
Mm.
smarts,
Mm.
I have always been very happy to sit in mine and to own mine. And I think
Mm.
that's something that I see a lot when women are coming in and getting started is the reluctance to be visible and the reluctance to share what they know. And I mean, show me a woman who's in her 40s, 50s that hasn't acquired massive wisdom and knowledge from both life and work and career and everything that's going on. Like,
Everything.
there's so much knowledge there to share. And it
Yeah.
really does make me sad when I see a lot of the lack of confidence. And I think that sometimes that's been programmed into a lot of people throughout their lifetime, but it's
Yeah.
something that to be successful online or to be successful in any business, I think you
Mm.
do need to back yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think that where do you feel that confidence came from with you? I think you see a lot of people go down that journey of personal development. I was one of them. I
Mm.
think I've probably been a student of personal development for 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you go through times, do you find that, you feel like even just stepping into something new, like speaking or doing a
Mm.
podcast or starting an online business and, the self-doubt creeps in, the imposter syndrome can
Yeah.
creep in and you can think, am I even good enough? Am I worthy of doing something like this? What do I have to offer? And I think that
Yeah.
also, even when I speak to women in this time of their lives, in their 40s and 50s, they think, well, what have I got to share? And I think, well, what have you been doing the last 30, 40
Yeah.
years? Think about that. Think about all the things that you've achieved and overcome and the knowledge that you have and the wisdom that you have that you can share. And you can turn that expertise into something that becomes a business that has,
Yeah.
it has legs and it has something that you've got an offer there, that you can share. You can create something
Mhm.
from that. And yeah, that's what I talk about with women all the time. And do you feel also that women creating wealth, financial independence is so important because I know you talk a lot about that. Because what do you feel that gives women when they obviously gives them confidence, but what do you think that
Mhm.
gives them when they have this financial independence from something that they've done and created, and then they
Mm.
step into that and that gives them something? What do you find that that gives them?
I mean, there's so many stats around it in that,
Mm.
wealthy women will change the world. I do think that in the coming generation, we will get a lot more positions of power with what a bit of a cluster. I don't know if I can swear on here. A cluster, you can use your imagination,
Yes.
that the world is in at the moment because of a lot
Yeah.
of old egotistical men. That I think that, when the pendulum swings and women can run the world, like Finland just got voted the happiest country in the world again, with
Yeah, I
all of
know
its
that's been
top
there for a
cabinet
while,
being
hasn't it?
female. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so when women have wealth, we make better decisions. We put
Yep.
it back into our communities, both in our families, our local communities. We're more philanthropic. We're more generous. We make better, like more rational decisions. We're better investors. Like we
Mm.
do better statistically on many things. And yet we've been socially conditioned for the absolute opposite. So I do
Mm.
think that, when I've got a bit of a backwards story to a lot of people in that I've been the breadwinner of our family for the last 13 years. So,
Yeah.
it's a bit of an opposite situation to a lot of
Yep.
people. And when that first started, I remember my father-in-law, who's, he's a traditional old school guy, and he
Mm.
said to my husband, like, how are you going to feel like the man when that is happening?
Mm.
And I see that dying off a little bit, that view of
Yeah.
masculinity, because there's
Mm.
no there's no like my husband is the protector. He's the caregiver. He is the one
Yep.
that looks after us, provides for us, just not in a financial capacity. So that has been really good for me because had we been the opposite, my husband's so risk averse and is such a saver, and I like to
Mm.
spend a lot of money. We would have had so many fights about me spending all of the money. So it's worked out really well that I can make
Yeah.
my own money and make my own
Yeah.
decisions and be able to do that. And I find that when women are able to make their own decisions, they're happier. And when we're
Mm.
happier within ourselves, we're going to have more solid families, more solid
Yeah.
friendships. Like it just has such a good snowball effect.
Yeah, yeah, that's and it's I find too, when you look at the family dynamics, it's people's opinions and the judgment of that. And it's and well done for like
Yeah.
not, falling into that trap because a lot of people, a lot of probably, maybe, your husband, he might have like felt like, maybe I've got to switch this
Mhm.
around because dad said so. I think it's great that you guys had stood to you like what you wanted to do and you've achieved such great things because there is that stigma. There is judgment
Yeah.
about things, but you look at the wealth that is shifting now with women. I mean, the
Mhm.
statistics that are coming out with the shifting of the wealth is incredible because women are becoming female entrepreneurs and creating incredible
Yeah.
businesses online and in every area. But it is that you can have that stigma behind it. I think if my husband, I said to Mark, you can retire now, go play golf for the rest of his life, he'd be stoked. He'd be like, I'm done. So, I
Do you know,
think that it's
statistically though, not many are happy with it. Like, I just read Melissa Brown's new book, Dare to Be Wealthy, which is
yep,
fantastic. Everyone should get
yep,
their hands on that.
yeah, she's amazing.
But yeah, she had the stats in it. I can't remember off the top of my head what the exact stats were, but it was an alarming amount of men that said they wouldn't be happy with their wives earning
Yeah.
more than them. So I do think that just as much as, women have really caught on to financial independence and
Mm,
being, more in charge of their own lives and decisions and that sort of thing. But I think men need to catch up to that as
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe that too. I really do. And I think at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I think that if the family is thriving and they're happy
Yeah,
and they're
you're a team.
succeeding, you know exactly. You're a
Mm.
team and the decisions are made as a team. And I think sometimes also with women is that I always say, look, you can make decisions on your own too. Like if you have an idea or a goal or a dream, don't let that go, like really
Mhm.
pursue that because at the end of the day, you come into the world on your own. You're going to go out on your own. Sometimes you have to start
Mhm.
making some decisions on your own, especially at this age. I think we go through life, certain decades. I call it, different seasons that you go through, different chapters that you go through that demand and require different levels from you. And I think when you reach this level of like in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, you have this ability to be able to make some decisions that you want to do for yourself. I
Mm.
really encourage women to do that because I think it's really important to do that to have that independence and to be
Yeah.
able to, make some decisions on your own, even though you're married and you're part of a, family. I mean, I said to Mark, I
Yeah.
said, I can't do these restaurants anymore. It was not aligning with me anymore. I just didn't want to be a part of it. At the age of 50, I pivoted. So I
Mm,
just knew that, that I had a bigger calling and it was time for me to move on. And,
yeah.
and then, like
Awesome.
I said, and then, joining the Her Empire Builder was one of the biggest turning points for me because
Yeah.
I learnt from you. And one of the things I like to share with the women in the Next Chapter program is that you just want to make sure that you invest in mentors and coaches that can help you get to where you want to go. And to be very careful of that because there's so many
Mm.
people out there offering the support and the help. And do they have the runs on the board? Do they have what you want? Are you really making sure that you're figuring out who this, vetting these people that you can make sure that you're stepping into the right mentor and coach for you? Because do you find that there's people out there, coaching and mentoring and don't really have the lifestyle that they're saying that they're having or the runs on the board that they have? Do you find it you've got to really be, quite all over it when you go and invest with a mentor and a coach?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had coaches, like right from the very beginning. I have had coaches. Usually I keep a coach for a couple of years and
Yeah,
milk everything that I can out of them, and then we'll switch on to the next one. So I
yeah,
love the coaching industry, and I've been part of
yeah,
group programs and one-on-one and all of the different things. But yeah, I do know in the online world, like there's a lot of smoke and mirrors as
yeah,
well. There's a lot of people inflating their credibility, so
mhm,
it's important to vet that and
yeah,
to know that. And that's
yeah.
where, even though we're online and we market our businesses so much with, you know, Facebook ads and social media and all of the things there, it still comes down to word of mouth. Still, most of my clients are because they've known somebody who has been through my program.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what happened with me when I, joined with you as well
Yeah.
because and learned from you.
Yeah. Dale told you, and you were like, yeah, I trust Dale. So that trust then transfers across. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I understand that I've always valued, a mentor, a coach, and what they can do for you because why try to figure it all
Mm.
out on your own? It's like, why would you invent the wheel? And not only that, you
Yeah.
just need someone to say, hey, listen, if you go down that road, you're probably, don't go down there. If you go down here, you'll dodge a bullet. And this will help
Yeah.
you to be able to move forward and thrive a lot
Yeah.
faster.
There's no chance I would have been able to progress the business the way that I did without it.
Yeah.
No chance. Yeah.
100%. And I really believe there's proximity, there's power in proximity. So the closer you
Mhm.
are to someone that has done what you move faster, it collapses
Yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah.
It gives you that ability to be able to move faster and
Yeah.
learn what you need to learn faster as well.
And
I
meeting so
find,
many other people on the journey as well. Like, I know I just went and hiked Mount Kosciuszko on the weekend with a group of girlfriends, all of
amazing.
who, now that I say that, all of those women I met through business. All
Yeah.
of them we met through conferences and different coaching programs and different things that we were part of, that we all, like our sparkly bits, talked to each other and then connected all together. And so I
Yeah.
think that, it's good both from a personal development point of view and professional. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You've got so many I have a lot of friends that I've met through business as well, and,
Yeah.
they become your lifelong friends, because
Yeah.
you have the same, the interests, you have the same mindset. It's a different kind of friendship as well. You have your friends
Yeah.
from school, and then you have your friends from business too, and I think that, it is really important to have both, but, it's really
Mm.
lovely when you meet women in business that you can connect with and you can talk to and share what you're going through, the ups and the downs of being an entrepreneur, because it's not always easy. And,
Yeah.
one thing I noticed about Her Empire Builder, I have to say, and the community that you have built is how
Mhm.
loyal everyone is and how women, it's a friendly environment. There's no mean girl stuff going on, which you can get
Yeah, we try
sometimes
really
out
hard
there.
with that.
And, it's out there and, they all keep their cards really close to their chest and they're not really, willing to
Mm.
share or whatever, how they've gotten through what they do. But I find with your community, it's not like that. They stay in with the community. They all become really great friends and they all learn
Yeah.
from each other. So what sort of what's the, secret to that? What do you think has been the
Yeah.
secret for your success with that community?
I mean, a lot of things. There's a lot of, like, different subtle touch points that make that achievable.
Yeah.
I think I'm really overt about it. When everyone starts and we do the welcome call, I'm very clear on the rules at the start in that, we
Yeah.
keep it confidential. We keep everything in the room. If anyone ever blabs about somebody else in something, like, I'll boot you out straight away.
Yeah.
If ever anyone is mean to someone else, I'll boot you out straight away.
Yeah.
Interestingly, in 6 years and over 1,000 women have gone through, I've only ever had to do that once. That
Wow.
someone
Yeah.
was actually like high school, someone was mean to somebody else on a retreat, and I was like, "You gotta go."
Yeah.
So and I think that after that happened too, the respect I got from everyone to do a hard
Mm,
thing like that
mm,
was really, really interesting and really good.
yeah.
But then it's doing things like events. So we do virtual networking, we do live events, and connecting people together
Mhm.
is what then allows people to connect better when they're online. I find for
Mm,
the people that, they show up to things and they keep their video off and they just do that, like, it's really hard to feel that level of connectedness. So I
mm,
think a good thing to remember for everyone is you get out what you put in. And if you take
yeah.
part in communities, like, you'll get that back as well. And it goes both ways. And then it's just so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And you do have like such a fun environment. You're a fun person, so
Yeah.
I think whatever you put out there, you attract as well. So that's why I really think you do have this amazing community that you've built, and well done for that, because it's not easy to build a
Thank
community. It's not easy to maintain and keep that either.
you.
And you
Mhm.
seem to be,
Mhm.
having that. So that's fabulous. The other thing I wanted to ask you is social media, because I feel
Mm.
like you're a perfect example of somebody who is very consistent. You share your life, you share what you're doing, your ups and downs, what you're going through. Like, you recently just shared climbing up that mountain, and what a journey that was. What a metaphor for
Yeah.
life. So, congratulations. Well done for
Thank
that.
you.
It's amazing. It really is. And I just love, whenever I see you there, I go, oh, what's Tina up to? And she's always got
Yeah.
something and you're doing.
I'm always doing something random.
I know, but I love that you share that. What would you say to women right now who are wanting to step up more with the social media? They're wanting to put what they're doing out there,
Yeah.
and they're wanting to build this personal brand. But obviously that takes effort. That takes you sharing your
Yeah.
story, sharing more about yourself, and being open and honest so you can,
Mm.
really start to, people see you and they want to, know a bit more about you. What would you say to help somebody that's nervous about doing that or
Mm.
worried about putting their life out there? What would you say would be the first step for them to do that?
I think the first thing to know is that it doesn't come naturally to many people. It's probably the weirdest part of my job. I will often think that as me being a business strategist, how do I have to, like, hold a phone in front of my face and talk every day? Like, it's such a weird thing, but it works. And so because I want the end result, because I want to serve women inside her empire builder, then
Mhm.
I'm willing to do it. I know the cost. And
Yeah.
business, one of my favorite things about business is cause and effect. Really is cause and effect. You want the result, you got to do the thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Mm.
really that simple. And so
Yeah,
it
that's
can be
great.
hard at the start. And I think take baby steps. So one of the best things that I did was drop the facade at the start. So I would, put makeup on and do my hair every time that I went online, or I'd use filters, or I'd do all of that.
Mm,
And then
mm,
back in like 2019, so a long time ago, I decided, you know what, I'm going to come as I am. If I've
mhm,
done my hair that day, great. If I haven't, I don't care. I'm not going to use
mm,
filters anymore, because I was really worried that I'd show up at a speaking engagement and they go, hang on, wait, what? What happened to her face? She doesn't, are you very tired today? Like, what's going on there? And so I wanted
yeah,
to just look like me. And when I decided to just come as I was, it got
mm,
so much easier because I
yeah,
wasn't feeling like when you're performing, it's a lot of energy. And so if
yeah,
you take the performative part out of it and just share with what you've got. And often I find people will majorly overthink it because they're like, oh, will people care about that? Like, why do they want to know that? And they try to way overthink it.
mm,
Whereas if you have like a simple thing, one of the best things is daily Instagram stories to connect with
yeah,
your audience. And if there's a thing of like, when you walk into your office, or when you get into your car, or when you sit on the back deck, or whatever is a thing that you do every day, use
mm,
that as your trigger to go, all right, I'm just going to whip out my phone, not overthink it, just going to spend 60 seconds talking about what have I got on this day. That's
yeah,
it. Done.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
off.
And
Yeah.
that's one of the beautiful things that you do, and I think it's so simple about what you've got on that day, and I love hearing about what you've got on that day, and I think they're the
Yeah.
things where
Weirdly,
you
people do. Yep.
it is. It's like when I did that makeup tutorial that time, I just
I
thought, "I
love
can
that.
do this." And then I got more interaction than ever before about the
Like my
makeup, and I'm
favorite
going,
thing.
"What?
Yeah.
People don't really know how to do the basic," and I realized a lot of
Yeah.
people don't. It's just things that come naturally to you,
Yes.
that where other
And
people
it's
might find
relatable, like, it's relating to
relatable.
people and talking to people and connecting with them instead of just
Yep,
feeling like you're using it as a sales
as a business all the
megaphone every
time.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting you say that because I remember I was at the hairdressers and I took this photo of myself taking your hair done because I'm about to go to this event tomorrow. And my husband was like, "Do you really need to post that you're at the hairdressers?" And I said, "Well, yeah, why not?" And he goes, "Why?" He
Yeah.
said, "Because one of my mates came in and said to him, Angela's hair looked lovely before after she got her hair
My
done,
husband
before
gets
and
that
after."
all the time.
And Mark goes, "What are you talking about?" And he had seen me on Facebook, at the hairdressers, and he thought, "Oh, that is so weird that she's done that." So,
Yes.
yeah, he doesn't understand it. But he said, "I don't see anyone else out there doing it." And I said, "It's because you don't have the
You're
algorithm.
not
You aren't
looking.
following the people that are." I said, "Everyone's doing it." He goes, "Who's everyone?" No one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you find that, like, in your family, people are like, "What are you doing that for?"
No, not so much anymore,
You
definitely at the
wouldn't anymore.
beginning.
Yeah.
But I do know I've communicated really well to my family why we do the different things. And so
Yeah.
sometimes like the kids will go, "Oh, this would make great content," because it's like we're all doing something together. And
Yeah.
so they're a
They're used
lot
to it.
more accepting of it
Mm.
now. But in saying that, I probably look like I'm on social media way more than I am. So I very rarely post in the moment. I'll like snap
Mhm.
photos really quickly and then put my phone away.
Mhm.
When I do go on social media, I create, I don't consume. So
Yes, you create
I
content.
am not really on very much. I spend about 15 minutes a day on social
Yeah.
media. So for me to
Wow.
be able to build a business off the back of that is exceptional.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. And you've done so well because I think that you're absolutely right. It's not like you have to be on here all the time like people think that you do, because you're not.
Yeah.
It's a part of your
Yeah.
life, but you are a content creator and you're building a business. I think when you
Yeah.
talk about the family stuff, I just want to touch on that a moment because I think you've got this beautiful balance with your family life, your
Yeah.
business, as well as your holidays and how you live your life. It's just really inspiring. And I think that you've set your boundaries really well when it comes to that. How do you juggle that? Like, how do you sort
Mm.
of, I know you're very organized in your year, like you have
Yes.
these are my holidays, this is my time with the family, this is my business time, and then you literally shut down your business and you go and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get to that point to really, be able to balance your life so well with business and life and family?
I mean, I have always done that with this business. So it was very much, I ran a bricks and mortar business
Yeah.
beforehand, of which I had
Mm,
very little control, work life balance, ability to
mm.
just go, you know what, I'm going to go overseas for a month. That just
You get
wasn't
it.
available. And so when
Yeah.
I started this business, I was very, very intentional
Mm,
of the lifestyle that I wanted it to create. And there's been many opportunities through the years of I could have gone bigger than what I have
mm,
gone. I could have
mm.
hired more stuff. I could have done, but I would have lost the lifestyle that I've worked so hard for. And so
Yeah.
it is that conscious choice that I
Mm,
have chosen. My kids are one just finished school last year, one finishes school this year. And the
mm.
relationship that I've been able to have with them and the experiences that I've had with them, there's no amount of money that I would give to
Yeah.
not have that. Like
Yeah.
it's been so worth it. And so
Yeah.
I do front load a lot of my year. So I will at the start of the year already block out my vacations, the different my husband I said to my husband the other day, like, I'm not traveling very much this year. He's like, "Oh, where are you going?" And so I rattled off like all the different things. And he's like, "How many weeks is that?" Like 10, 11 weeks. He's like, and that's not very much.
Yeah.
But it's not I've become very
To the average
accustomed to
person, it's like, "Wow."
I know, but in saying that, I do work a lot of the time
Yeah.
when I'm away, so
Mm,
I'll usually
yeah.
work a couple of hours a day. I don't switch off completely, which is how I like it. I normally only switch off completely over the Christmas break. I'll do,
Yeah.
3 or 4 weeks from mid-December to mid-January and drop off the face of the earth, but throughout
Mhm.
the year, it's easier just to take my laptop, do a couple of hours, and then I can go as long as I like, I can stay wherever
Yeah.
I like, and so I plan all of our
Beautiful.
launches around that. We do all our funnels around that. I mean, it's the best part about having this style of business. And I think it can be really tempting to forget that and just put your head down and work like you normally do. But I mean, all the days of the week, all of the hours that we work, it's all arbitrary. It's all made up. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. I agree. And that's why I think you're very intentional. And I think to
Yeah,
have this beautiful, well-balanced life that you need to be intentional about your time and balance that out, you know? So I think you've really nailed that. So that's really, really
yeah,
inspiring,
thanks.
especially for female entrepreneurs, you know, coming into this world. You can start to forget it in traditional business. I was the same. You just couldn't have that balance. Everything was,
Yeah.
it was out of your control. You know, there was so many external factors that
Yeah,
controlled
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. And another thing I wanted to ask you was that you have been on this incredible well-being journey in recent
Yeah.
years. And I've just seen you just blossom and it's so inspiring, this transformation that has taken place. And, like you
Yeah.
said, you're climbing mountains on the weekend
Yeah.
and not only that, I've also learnt so much from you that you share, like even the sleeping stuff. I remember you telling me one day about the
Mm.
Good Night Co. And I started taking that and how that really helps because being sleeping. I think people are onto it now as entrepreneurs and successful people. You need to make sure that
Mhm.
you are performing at your highest.
Mhm.
As
Yeah.
a high performer, you need to be making sure you sleep well, you eat well, that you live a well balanced life. And I think that do you find now that that's really helped you in this whole transformation that you've had to be able
Mm.
to, be better in business, as a leader, family, all of it? Has all of these things helped you on your transformation?
Yeah, it's really just made me a calmer person, I think. A bit more yeah, a bit more calm is the thing. I wouldn't say I actually think you might crucify me for what I'm about to say. The wellness people would definitely crucify me for what I'm about to say. I actually think it has a negative
Do you?
business result because I would used to work
Mm,
like, there was no I wouldn't care if I needed to go to the toilet and my tummy was hurting. If I had to get something done, I would get it done. I didn't care if I had a headache and I was tired. If I said I'd
mm,
get it done, I'm getting it done and I'm not stopping.
mm,
Like, I could work like a machine. And
mhm.
in the last few years, I've really prioritized my nervous system, my health, my sleep, all of the things. I mean, that I do all of the things. You could name it and I do it. But that means it's a huge time commitment. Like, it's
Yes.
not something that was accessible to me when I had young children and trying to do a business. I just
Mm,
didn't have the time. I mean, this morning, Angela, like, I got up and I had my tea and I meditated and I did my stretches and I worked out. It's freaking, it's 10 o'clock by the time I
yeah.
get like it's
Mm,
I don't like to wake up early. I like to get my
yes,
9 hours sleep a night. And so there's only so many hours in a day. And so
there is. Yeah.
then if I stop working when I've had enough, it's like 3, 4 o'clock. And so the hours that I'm actually working are way less. And that has a different impact. People will say, yeah, but they're more productive. I was always productive. I am a
Yeah.
very productive human being. And
Yeah.
so I would say output wise, is less than what I used to do.
Mhm.
But I feel it all feels very sustainable now. It all feels very worth it. Like work is just a part of my life rather
Mhm.
than everything that I devote for.
Mhm.
And I really like that. I like myself better
Mm.
that I feel like I'm taking better care of myself.
Yes. You look fabulous, and I think that do you find you get a lot of people, talk about, your transformation over the last couple of years? Do you find
I
it's a
mean, not
common
so
thread
much
thing?
now. I've been the weight I am now for the last 2 years nearly, but I lost 27 kilos and I'm 5 foot tall.
Wow, Tina, that's incredible.
It's a lot. So you
Well
can't
done.
really one of the difficult parts about being online is you can't hide it. It's a very
Can't hide it.
visible thing. And
Mm,
so, yeah, I did get a lot of comments and
mm.
that I have mixed feelings about that.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it was interesting to see people's opinions, both the good and the bad from following that, but, I mean, I just feel so much more I can do so much more in my life now. I
Yeah.
always exercised and I was always strong, but
Mm.
but now I can bound up a mountain and the
Yep.
next day, I'm fine. It's
I mean,
yeah,
like, yeah,
it's
no,
really I ride my horses every
yeah,
weekend. Yeah,
beautiful.
there's so much I can do. I'm
All the
about to go
things you can
snowboarding
do.
with one of my sons, and he's
Wow.
18, and I can still keep up with him, and I look forward to snowboarding with my grandchildren. Like,
Yeah,
it's meant that
love it.
I'm taking care of myself, which will give me a whole lot more longevity than I think is was
Mm.
where I was headed.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, you saw Oprah when she was out recently too, and she
Mhm.
spoke about her wellness journey. And obviously, she does a lot of hiking and everything now. And she said, like, even to think about that hiking, she would never have been able to do what she does now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
She looks amazing too. But I think weight is a very and health and wellness and transformation is a very interesting thing. And I think
Yeah.
really at the end of the day, when the cortisol and the inflammation start to come out of your body, it really has a
Mm.
massive impact in your life. I know that that happened for me as well. My face used to be just so bloated all the time. And then when I started, meditating and just saunas and cold plunges and doing a few things like that, it's made such a massive difference to my
Mm.
mindset, to the way I was thinking. I was more productive. So, yeah, there's definitely something in it being on, the well-being journey and, getting the most out of yourself as a business owner and leadership too. So, that really helps. I wanted to say thank you so much for having, being a guest on our podcast today on Harmony and the Hustle. And I also want to say I'm so grateful that you were our first guest, part of this series for women in business as entrepreneurs, because you are somebody that I admire so much. And you had this beautiful life that you've built out of an online business. And, you're so successful and you are such
Mm.
a humble person. And I just love watching you and being friends with you and everything that you've shared online. I just want to thank you again for being here, and thank you for everything that you've done to help me succeed. I mean, you even
Mm.
taught me how to do this podcast, right down to what
Yeah.
microphone to get.
We have
Yeah,
the
and I
same
was
mic, matchy
we
matchies.
have it.
Yeah.
I remember looking at everything that you do, and you've actually got your Her Empire Builder coming up very soon as well. Your door's about to open. I'm going to talk about that in one sec. But I remember when I became a member, I looked at the back office and the detail that was in there. I was like, wow,
Mhm.
this is amazing. And just you took complicated ideas and you simplified them so easily. I always say, talk to me like a 2-year-old, and then I'll
Yeah.
figure it out. And then I could read something, buy this, do that, do this, right? Send that email. Here's a template. And so I really encourage anyone that, is starting out in business that is wanting to learn where to start and what to do and the basics of it as well, is to join with you with Her Empire Builder, because you'll learn so much. So talk to me about this one that you've got coming up right now. Your doors are about to open for Her Empire Builder in the next couple of weeks. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, first, I'll say thanks to you too. I mean, it's been amazing watching you go from. I remember when I first spoke to you, and you were running the restaurants, and you were there going like, "I've got this dream, and I want to do this," but it was such a pipe dream. It seemed like you were like, you wouldn't even dare to imagine it being real. And then to
Yes.
see you to go from that, from the inception of nothing but an idea, and do it systematically, one thing after another. And now look at you. You're like running programs and masterminds and podcasting. Like it is an absolute pleasure to watch. It is the whole
Thank
reason
you.
I do what I do. And every time I see you shine, I'm just like, get it, Angela. Like it's so good.
Thank you
So
so
well done
much. I
on doing
appreciate
that.
that. I'm learning from
Yeah,
the
it's
best in
so
the biz.
good.
So thank you.
It's so good. But yeah, her empire builder is basically that's what we do. We do help women to take their IP, package it in a way to sell it online, and all of the business back end. So I think a lot of the time people think it's all about the course, but the course is just a very small
Yeah.
component. It really is the business engine and the sales and the
Mm,
marketing and the
mm.
funnels and everything that we need to do to actually get it out there.
Yeah.
So that's what we do inside the membership. We've got a free training coming up that you can register for at
Mhm.
tinaweek.com.
Yep.
Is the easiest way to get a bit of a taster of what it's
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I'll be on that because I always jump on those things because you always learn.
Yeah.
I'm always learning and evolving
Uh-huh.
anything,
It's a good
and
refresher.
it is a good refresher. And I think the other thing you just touched on it just then is the implementation of it. Because I think, you can
Mhm.
come and you can learn from people and you can take all the information, but information isn't power unless you actually implement it and execute. And that's the thing I think you do so well, is be able to simplify it so people can implement it fast. And that's a really important thing too, because otherwise it's just too overwhelming for people.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
action stations.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so funny when you said that when I called you, I do remember I was up here walking in the park and I remember saying to you, go, well, what do you want to do? What idea do you have? And I said, well, I just want to help female entrepreneurs. And you go, yeah, Angela, that's a little broad. Why don't you narrow it down a
Yeah.
little bit what you actually want to do? Until I got to the point, okay, I help women in midlife create, in their next
Yeah.
chapter who want to do this and, I want to be a keynote speaker. So I had to took me a while to
Yeah,
figure it out, but
good.
eventually you get there. So, I think that's the real key is you may not know it at first where it's going to go or what you want to
Yeah.
do. But I think if you get around people like yourself and mentors and you figure it out
Yeah,
and
you
you
just take
you
that
actually work
one
out your
next step.
IP, yeah,
Yeah,
and
it'll
your
all unfold.
expertise, yeah, it all unfolds from there. But thank you again, Tina, for
Thanks,
being on our
Angela.
show. You're amazing, and it's always
Back at
great and a
you.
pleasure to chat to you. So, yeah, all the best, and thanks again. Have a fabulous day. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.